Okay. So why don't we kick it off with Barb? And
Okay.
then thanks, Mary Jo. I saw you raised your hand virtually.
Yeah. We
Mhm.
always have questions, don't we, group?
Yeah.
I love it. Bring them on.
Okay, I think mine might be quick. When we did the session on the front page, you talked about the fact that sometimes there's something on your front page that you didn't put on there because the URL wasn't recognizable. It just goes on there with this general public thing.
It led to, I think, like slash node or something like that. Very generic
Well, I have
URL that it
one.
led to.
I have one on my front page,
Okay.
and I did not put it there, and it has a whole bunch of stuff attached to it. So I wanted you to look at it and see how could it have gotten there.
I've had those too. I haven't gotten any for a while, but you have to fool around with the going back and forth about arranging all the stuff on the front page, but it is a nuisance.
But
Okay.
even if you rearrange them, it ends up at back at the top. That's really my question.
Well,
too.
but I've been able to work with that, but it takes time. Yeah.
So this
So
is the issue that we're talking about here.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. Now click on the read more. Before you try to fix it, click on the read more.
Yeah, this is that my.lwv.org/node, and it's kind of a catch-all page. We definitely just don't want to see this empty listing here.
But,
So
before you go on, click on the read more again.
Mhm.
And it looks like it's from a whole bunch of different places.
Yeah.
So is it what happening is that various webmasters across the United States are putting in some kind of URL that doesn't have a valid thing or something?
It
I don't
is just the
understand.
way the system works because we are working across the nation and we have so many different leagues across the nation subscribed to MyLO. And this is, I'm not exactly sure what we don't publicize this page anywhere, but as far as the use of this page, I'm not exactly sure what it's used for, but it is some kind of catch-all list of all kinds of different content around MyLO. So it isn't specific to just one league. But the issue is that we just shouldn't have this listing, and the fact that it is submitted by general public, that lets us know that it's not tied, along with us leading to that node page. Both of those let us know that it's not specific to your league, this listing. And we did try to mitigate the issue. There was another user that reported the same thing. And it was unrelated to an issue that we had fixed with this before. So if we can just gather as much information about this and report back to the tech team, if you happen to know when this started, that would help us. So like if you happen to know if it was subscribed content or if it was maybe one of your own league's articles or whatever other type of content that ended up then presenting this way. You might have unpublished something or you might have unsubscribed from a certain content type.
It did
Anything
happen
that you can
after
recall.
it happened after we did the front page training.
Mhm.
I remember that because that's what I was kind of doing. I was playing with the front page and doing stuff. And I did not unsubscribe to anything, but I did do some unpublishing. I unpublished a whole lot of stuff. So
Okay.
that it was cleaner, I thought. And
No,
then
but
'cause
that was the same time they introduced all this new functionality of moving the events around. So I don't think it has to do with what you did. I think it's somehow inherent in this new functionality.
I-
That
does
somehow it's
everybody-
got some little missing bolt or something that's not working right. Because I
does
got it right
everybody
after
have that
that.
same thing on their front
I
page?
had it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You mean like right now?
Yes.
No, I don't have it anymore because I
I-
did
I didn't
what we're
check
The
supposed to
reset
do.
of the order. So
Right.
a couple of things. The recent report of an issue with this list where it was pretty much the same issue. Our tech team did some work to try to resolve that, but it's looking like it might need some more work. So yeah, I will definitely share back with them and let them know that there are still some leagues that are with their own content being affected with this.
See,
So
I now have two of them on my first front page. And I checked my notes. It was May 7th where you talked about this.
Mhm.
And I thought it was, you were able to go to a gear and then delete it from the page. And I know I did that once, but I can't find any way to get these two that are on there now.
That is, yeah,
Oh,
that's a good point that you bring up.
got
The only time that the gear does come up is when the content actually appears, you know, when the description or the image or the title is there. With these, what that I keep calling empty listings, with these here that are kind of faded and red, the
Yes.
best way to resolve it is by going to manage front page items
But
and
that doesn't work.
resetting the order. It
Reset.
hasn't worked for you.
I
You
have
sure
done
you-
that over and over.
Are you sure you
I'll
reset
try.
it?
I
Try
had to
it.
go back and forth between save order and reset, and I don't have it on I went on my phone and I don't see it on my website today. And nobody
Okay.
else would have looked at it. So I don't know.
I mean,
I
if it,
I
yeah,
have to say, I
definitely if it
never
ever
reset
pops
it.
up.
I
You have
never
not.
reset it. I tried to move it. I could move it for a while. Now I can't even move it. So,
And
And don't forget about about where it says set number of visible items.
And you can, well, depending on if it still moves, you can force it, like you're saying, Mary Jo, with the
Right.
set number of items.
Yeah.
I tried that. I tried that several times. In other words, I put it at the bottom of the list and then I reduced the number so that it wouldn't show. Well, it showed,
Finish
but the
them.
last one I wanted on the page did not.
I see, because it continues to rise to the top.
Right.
So,
I even changed the weight. I didn't know if that was supposed to help or not, but I changed the weight. So maybe that caused it to be even worse. I don't know.
well,
tried
the
that
weight, as
too.
far as the difference of the weight versus the grabby handles, that's the difference there. So the weight is another way to reorder it. Or the smaller the number, 0 or 1 rise to the top, and the higher the number, the lower in the list.
So can you change that
versus
weight right now?
the
While you're in there,
grabby
can you change
handles.
that weight?
I can, but it is the same thing as if I were to just slide them up with the grabby handles. So it's either show row weights.
Takes
I get
longer.
to use
Okay,
the
so show the
grabby
weight now. You
handles.
moved it, show the weight.
I haven't saved the order, so it's going to be 5, 6.
So
Oh,
it
well,
did change.
It does save itself there in the moment. But
But it's kind
again,
of square, it's kind of weird.
the
'cause
behavior of this one just keeps rising to the top. But Barb, can I reset these to see if it does remove that? Okay.
Yep.
Thank
I
you.
did not do that. I have not tried that. So
Well, that's the,
Okay.
the main way
that-
to do it.
Yeah, that is the number one way to get rid of it. But definitely if that is happening to you, let us know. If you can take a screenshot, that would be great. And then aside from that, you can just go ahead and reset it. But letting us know that it's happening, and then it, just like Barb let us know that it might have been some of her own content that she unpublished, and that's when it appeared. Any kind of details that you can share about where it came from are totally helpful.
Well, you see, I actually have looked at some of the items and I think they're interesting, but if it could be a separate menu item that's not pronounced and it says like news around the country or something like that. And then if it automatically went to that menu item, then there might be some interest in it, but I just don't want it at the top of my front page.
As far as having, to that node page.
Yeah,
Well, there's similar behavior with the rest of the site. Like when you use tags, I don't know if we've ever talked about tags much. I won't make any changes, but just to show off where you can use them in events. That's usually where we see them the most. And a tag is a common word that keyword that MyLO users or webmasters can enter into their content, like events or their articles or action alerts. And it becomes a clickable link. That link then is leading to a full list of any other MyLO league that has shared a similar content with a tag. So I think the tags are down here. Once you start typing a tag, you'll see that a lot of other tags exist already.
Right.
It's a pre-generated list, but you can definitely create your own. And then the only thing you need to do to separate is a comma. So you can write multiple words and then separate with a comma. That's a list of 2 tags so far. So red is one tag, vote for all is another tag.
And
Let's
where do
see if-
those tags appear on your page then?
They appear down at the bottom. Actually, let me pull up
Why don't you
another.
just, why don't you just go ahead and put alternate justice program as a tag? That's
Okay.
I don't think that's what she means. It's it's for people when they're Googling, they'll find the article.
Both. Yeah, it's not, I'm not, that's definitely another benefit, Mary Jo, because it does help with the search engines, but it also just gives the user, the visitor, another place to click onto and see if any other league is also posting about that information. So what was the term you said, Barb?
alternate justice. That's what this article is about.
Okay. So it looks, so before I even save that, because nothing else popped up, it looks like this is going to be
Oh,
the only thing on the page, but it's still definitely going to create a tag. So alternate justice will be a new tag.
Why don't
I'll
you
just
just
add-
put justice, because I'm sure somebody had justice as a tag, so we can see what it brings up for when other people have them.
okay, try
Does that
that.
work?
Is that all right, Barb?
Yep, that's fine.
What fields are being searched when their engine is looking at tags? Is it title or content?
Isn't
or-
part of the title. It's just going to be part of the page. So when the search engines send out their bots to crawl the page, they'll recognize that these are terms, keywords provided by us, the website owners, and recognize that these are relative terms related to this content when they're trying to create it, or as a visitor, they're running their search and they enter in justice or alternate justice. The bot or the crawling that happened will recognize that those are relevant key terms to the page and provide that connection.
So if justice appears anywhere on the page, the bot will likely find it.
No, but
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, but it's the fact that it's a tag, it's in the metadata. Finding the justice in the text of the page is also a way to be searching, but this is of a higher priority because it's associated with the page as metadata, special data associated with it that the bot can find.
Who
Right?
creates
That's a
the
very good point.
metadata? Do I create the
By
metadata?
making the tag. If you look,
Yeah, we're adding to the metadata by creating the tag, but MyLO creates the metadata by default. Another place where, so this is one spot where you can have a go at the metadata. The other place is here down at the meta tags. Like I said, we provide a lot of the information by default. The page title here, you get to have a say in what the node title is because that's what you title the page. The site name by default is always MyLO, but this is what we see in the description of a search engine result, but also what we see at the top of the tab when we're viewing the published or draft version. We see that at the top of the tab window. And then going on, the description, same thing, you get to specify this through either, and I'm going to scroll up, sorry, the body here. Usually it's going to take the first 200 to 300 characters in HTML. So if you have a picture, you might just get the picture or half of the picture, but the summary can be another place where you can specify something different if you want to show something different, going back down to that on that description. If you wanted something different than what you're showing in the main body, this is what we would see on the search engine result, but also if we were promoting this on the front page, that's where we would see the description as well. Going on down, sorry. The advanced tags are not as useful as just the basic tag. So the keywords is another place where you can add relevant terms. And so just like the tags work with the events and articles, the keywords are available for every single page. I would recommend using them on your home page is a good place to start. If you don't plan to edit the keywords everywhere, because that is a large task, just going with your homepage, that's a good place to add in keywords. But then also, if you have your voting page, you can add a lot of different terms there, and it's the same thing. You add a word or phrase and just separate with a comma, and keep going. And actually, you probably should add a space after the comma just to be safe. The other thing, I would recommend adding like regional terms too, like especially to your voting page, adding the neighborhoods or your county names, things like that, because most of the time we as visitors, when we're having or conducting an online search, I usually include Sacramento, or I'm usually putting my city or my state. So we want to think like the Googlers. So that was like a quick little dive into the metadata, and just to kind of go back a little bit, like Liz was saying, the fact that the metadata has priority is just thinking of it in a physical sense, how HTML is written, and it's written almost like a list form. So the metadata is sitting up at the very, very top. It's one of the first few lines that comes through when you're looking at the HTML side of a web page. And then getting into the actual body of the page, that's about a good 50 lines down at least. And so as a bot going through the HTML code, the metadata gets hit first. So these keywords and these tags are sitting up higher. And so that helps to let the bot know that this is relevant to these terms here.
Why don't you save it with these two things, save it, and then look at the page, show at the bottom how that tag is used. I mean, when we go back to the published one.
Oh, okay. Are you also, would you want to see keywords added as well?
Justice for all or whatever. Justice, isn't that where you were putting in justice?
That was up in the tags here.
Yeah, that's what I mean, in the tag.
Okay.
Yeah, just the tag.
Yeah, let's go ahead and save it with those tags. Is it fine for me to publish that, Barb? Let's go for that. Okay. So with those added, the header comes in by default when you start adding a tag. And as soon as you click on one that has others populated, then we get to see a complete list of all the leagues that have used that tag. It could be events, it could be articles. And then if the page or the list is long enough, we'll have a pager that you can flip through the different pages with. So that's just another way that you can see the interconnectedness of MyLO. And then one other thing is that you can subscribe to it as a RSS feed. So if you have a website that you use as an RSS feed reader, or your email is compatible and allows you to subscribe to that kind of thing, then you can do that. And anytime a league adds in the tag justice, you'll get a notification, either an email or that app or website that you're using will notify you and say, hey, this is new content related to that.
So when you go back to the page that you came from, where we added that tag, if you show them the actual HTML, can you view the source for them so they see where it says meta?
Okay, yeah. So we're gonna see like what the developers see or what the bots would see. And let's see if I can make this bigger here. Okay, so I'm kind of somewhere in the middle of the HTML code. So I'm going to scroll all the way to the top, and sorry if this is a little small. But we have what we start out with. These lines up here are kind of just general and more about the window and not actually about the website yet. That the head is where we start off with that information for the website. We start out with the meta tags here. And actually, it might take me a little bit to search for them because I haven't ever searched on this side before. So we added justice and alternate justice.
There, alternate justice. Oops. Oh, that may be part of the.
We do see alternate justice programs because it's the title.
Yeah. But you see where it says meta on the left for all of these things that she's looking at? Every line starts with meta, and that means it's metadata for the page, for the bot to look at.
And that's where we would make changes in meta tags. If you did want to make a change specifically to the description, if you wanted to make it a static description that you typed in, rather than it being dynamic and always changing to be what you specify in the summary, you have that option, and then you would see that information here, and like we said, on a Google search or whatever online search result.
I'd like to be able to see what we put in it for the tag, though. I'm not seeing it.
I'm gonna see if I can maybe search. I mean, if I search alternate justice, I'll probably have many results, but let's try that. Okay, I have.
That's just MyLO tags.
This is just part of what's physically on the page. So I'll have to get back to you with more information on where it physically sits in the HTML. But we, as far as the visitors go, rather than thinking of how the bots are viewing it, we as MyLO visitors get to click on the tags and, like we saw, get to see what other leagues are doing around the country.
I wonder if it really is in the metadata. Maybe it's just used in the tag part at the bottom of the page, and that, which is wonderful functionality to see what other people are doing. But I wonder if it really does show up in the metadata, because you have another place where you actually set metadata.
Yeah, and that we didn't actually change. So let's see about, I'm going to open up a new browser here. Thank you, Barb, for letting me poke around and show it off there. Just so that I don't risk messing anything up in your site, Barb. I'm going to jump into our demo site just so that we can play around with the keywords. In case, sorry, we definitely have gone off, and Liz, this might be just a little something I can
Yeah, you can leave it
fiddle
alone
with later,
now.
and then we can
Yeah,
communicate.
go ahead, 'cause
I know that Harriet, we hadn't gotten to your question, and you were next
Can I
on the
just,
list.
can I just
Actually-
share, can I just share that I typed in Edwardsville and alternate justice or alternative justice, and that posting was the top in Google.
Awesome.
That's great, great, great.
Yeah.
Actually, my question dealt with what you're talking about. So
Okay.
I'd like to get rid of those on that first page. I've got 2 of them now, and one several weeks ago I was able to get rid of, and I've tried all of the things that I've heard people say. You
why
know,
don't
Would
we
you-
try it again? Why don't we try
Yeah. Would you like me
that
to
reset.
log in and see if we can
Maurice,
do
are you
something?
are you still logged in as me? Can you just double check that it's gone on my page before you leave?
Yeah,
Yeah.
good point.
And one thing, it might be out of order on how the order was set before. So,
I can fix that
Um,
easily, but
okay.
it's not there. Is it not there at the bottom either, right?
Right.
No, it's
Yeah. It's
gone.
not there.
And you did 2
So-
things. You
The
you
number one
reset
thing
them?
was coming over to manage front page items and using this here, the reset defaults to reset settings to default. So that's the number one way to try to fix that. If that doesn't work, then that's when we want to really.
Well, then I don't know how many times I've tried that. Maybe I need to do that, but
Well,
go
let's
ahead,
do
go ahead,
it.
Harriet's. Go ahead and do Harriet's now that I know mine's fixed.
Okay, awesome.
that's fine. Fix mine, please.
Yes, fix Harriet's.
Yeah, let's jump in there. I'm assuming it's first name, last name.
Well, there's 2 T's. Yeah. Yeah.
Oops.
Okay. So first, before I even dive into, okay, so we see that they're there.
There's 2.
Yeah, they're pesky. Okay. So just as we did before, we'll come over to manage front page items. And just as I was telling Barb, it may be out of order. I'm not entirely sure if you've saved it before, but let's hope that this will work.
What'd you
Okay.
do there? Reset it?
I did the reset settings to default. We definitely might have a little rewording of that button. But yes, that is the button to use. Let's come back over to your front page.
Do you have to save it?
No, that's a good question. The reset settings is just the one click and done. When you're using the save order one, the save order button, you do need to do steps before to reorder things and then click save order. That's the only time you need to use that button.
Well, it looks like it's gone. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
That's awesome. Okay, good. I'm glad that it was not.
That must have been
stickier
what I
than-
did before, but interesting. Of course, my order is out of order, but I can go back and change that.
Yeah, if you customized that before.
Problem.
So this issue brings up my second question I was going to ask, and that is that I knew we talked about this. I couldn't remember what we did. So I wanted to go into the YouTube and find where I should look. And I thought, I need to know how to go to your YouTube channel and see something on a specific topic,
Yes,
and
that is
see
a very
what you-
good question.
I was hoping
Yes,
that you
yes,
would have
yes.
time to do that too.
Let's do that right now.
Does
And
somebody else have a question though that we need to?
Harriet, did you have any other questions?
No, that was my main
That was
one.
the one.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Well, everybody
well-
can use this.
The next, I was going to go to Susan, but if we can just hold for 1 second, I can
Please.
show off where
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
have that. Yeah.
That's just fine.
Okay, awesome. So in our documentation page, there is a link to a search. So a couple of places you can get to it. Search our videos pops up here from the menu when you come to the documentation page.
Hey, stop a minute.
Sure.
I
Gonna
don't
zoom in a
even
little.
know how to find the documentation page. I mean, I'm way
Okay.
back at the beginning on a lot of this.
Okay, no, there's definitely a few places. Um, let's go back. I am still masquerading as Harriet. Let's act as if I'm coming in as a webmaster. Usually you land at your own homepage first. From any page in MyLO, you can scroll all the way to the very, very bottom. And we have My League Online down here. That's one way to get to the homepage.
Oh.
And then the other way is, well, messing with the URL. Sorry, this is a little small, but all of our URLs, if you have a MyLO site, begin with my.lwv.org. And then the rest is unique to your own league and state, all that. If you remove the portions that are unique to you, so speaking in Harriet's case, I'm removing my local league name and the state, I'm left with just my.lwv.org. If you remove that, that's our homepage URL. The button down at the footer is the much, much easier way to do it. But that's just another way. If you remember the address, then you'll easily get back to the homepage. And from there, that's when you're able to see documentation in the menu on the left.
Thank you.
Definitely. That is a question that I always forget to answer because we just always jump right in. So thank you. So that's one spot that you can see search our videos. And then if you scroll down a bit on the documentation page, here where it says new, that's another link here. Search for past training webinars and documentation videos from our site. I'll go ahead and click on that. And this is as we upload new videos, this is giving you all of those. And not only can you search for what is in the title, but you can search for whatever is in the description. And I try to give a good set of keywords within the description so that it's not only describing, but kind of giving keywords on maybe what the issue might have been. But if we look for front page, that gives us, I think this is our, okay, yeah, this was our office hours. Let's see. And then some of our documentation videos. And actually these are two here. So this is some additional from the office hours. But this is the way to search for specific videos, especially when a lot of the office hours are just titled office hours. It might be a little bit hard to know exactly which one, but this allows you to search through the description.
Could I recommend that if you ever do give us a workaround in the office hour, that you put that in the description, just say workaround for.
Oh, for sure.
That's
a
often
good
what
tip.
I'm looking for. I know you told me what to do, but I don't remember what it was. And so if you had workaround for, what do we call it? The URL or something, just workaround for front page URL or whatever.
For bogus listings.
Yeah.
Or
Bogus events.
Definitely. Yeah, no, that is a good point. Thank you for that. Okay. Well, let's go ahead. Susan, we can jump to your questions.
I think it's an easy one. And I think now that I know how to search the training videos, I could answer it anyway. But I just started fiddling with tables in the description. And for the life of me, I cannot erase a table if I decide I don't want it. I can delete the contents, but the little table itself won't go away.
Okay. And that can be pesky when it is in a certain position. Are you the single L, Susan Woolley?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have two of us?
There is actually another that popped up with a double L. So that's your doppelganger there. But yeah, let's take a look at it. Which page is it that it's on?
Oh, it's long gone, but just
Oh,
as a
okay.
general, this is how you do it. And related to that, I was trying to get to wrap text around a picture. I was trying to use a table to try to wrap text around a picture. And I'm sure you can do it. I just have not been able to figure it out.
We definitely, whoops, sorry, this is, there we go. Okay, we do have a caption feature. Let's add in an image. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to get my mouse at the end of the paragraph there. So getting to a new line, just starting fresh with the remove formatting so I can add in.
Oh, is that what that little button is? Okay.
So sorry, yeah, I'm moving a little fast here. Let me zoom in a little further and slow down. So I'm coming back. I've hit the enter or return key on my keyboard. And just to drop to a new fresh line at the bottom, I'm going to use remove formatting. So now technically my cursor's under Bob Ross. And then the media browser icon allows me to choose from a file like a document or a picture or upload my
Right.
own.
Yep.
Let's just use something that I have uploaded.
How about that picture of the people there and the fourth one and from the left?
Oh, this one?
Yeah, it's got
The
people.
historic picture?
Because that's what I'm typically trying to do. We have an
Well,
event.
It's
and I
older
wanna-
people.
I like to say a historical image. One thing that's usually already filled in the alt text is required, and this is not only for like if the picture is broken or for some reason isn't displaying right, this will appear instead, but it's also for search engines. And this is what like the image search will use for relevant terms. So I'm not sure if Carrie Chapman Cat is in there, but let's just say
I don't know.
historical photo of LWV members. Just try to be relevant to whatever the image is. Let's scale this down a bit just to make this demo easier.
Yeah, because I want a thumbnail of our guests for the event.
Okay, so with the image selected, let's see, I just want to show the difference. So with the image selected, you get this option here of add a caption to the image. It only appears when you have clicked on or selected an image. So I'm going to click my mouse outside of the image. And as soon as I do that, I clicked out here, that option is no longer available. So it is only available for images. I click back on there. Let's click on that and it opens up a new little window. I'll give just a generic caption. The float option allows it to, if it floats to the left, then any text or anything else that you add underneath it will be wrapped on the right side of the image and then vice versa. If you float it to the right, then anything else you add beneath it will be wrapped to the left of it.
Will it wrap up beside the image?
Not too close. So yeah, let's do that. I'll wrap it to the left and I'm going to copy some text that I have over here. And we paste that in. As far as lists go, the little demarkers, like the bullet points or the numbering system might get in the way. But any other text, so let's actually remove the list so that we can see what that looks like. So it's given a little bit of padding there when it comes to the text.
And so these are our LWV members. How did that come in? That came in through the alternate title.
This, clicking back into here, anytime that you select the image or you click anywhere into the caption, I added it through here. So add a caption to an image. When I click on that, this is the caption that I
That's that.
added. Mhm.
Okay. And then when you put the float left, then you can bring in additional text and put it where you want and fiddle around. That's what I'm
I can
after.
I can keep adding to this. And I can also still change the float if I wanted to remove it or make it go to the right. When I insert, it makes both of those changes. So the change to the caption of adding more text or whatever change I made there. And then I also changed the float.
Super. Now,
that's what
let's go back to our earlier conversation when we were talking about tags and bots crawling around our website.
Mhm.
If the picture has the potential to interrupt bot activity and mess it, sounds like you really don't want your picture to be on the left side if possible. You want to bury it in the middle or put it on the right or something. Is that true?
It is a little bit different. When I was getting to that, it is specifically when you start out with a picture. So let's say I'm going to start a new line at the top here and start fresh. Let's just drop in an image to see what it looks like on the back end. So just going to use this graphic here. And we have, there we go. Okay, so when we start out with an image at the very top, what I'm going to do is swap the WYSIWYG to full HTML. And just to show you, and it doesn't, you don't have to, we don't have to understand HTML because I definitely don't know all the stuff here, but I know that this is the physical length of the HTML string for an image. So this is rather long, and most search engines will have the description. It's usually restricted to about 300 to 400 characters. And that's taking into account all of these different characters that create HTML. So if you are going to, and I'll swap this back, if you are going to start out your homepage main body content with an image or any body for that matter, for any other page, I'd always recommend adding a different message under the summary. So you could go with just our like our mission statement or something like that. But I would definitely recommend using the summary section if this is what you currently have. If you're using an image to start out at the body, then this summary allows a different message to be shown to the bots. And rather than the description being blank on a Google search result, if you're in this case using an image to start out the body, if you have something in the summary, then they'll actually have some text there as a description.
And if you were to shrink that banner down to a little tiny thumbnail, there'd still be all that HTML. That doesn't change at all.
Right. It doesn't change it. So we could make it extremely small, and the physical length of that, and let me click out. Clicking into the full HTML, we still see it.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, we still see it the same length. So it's still pretty similar number of characters, if not exactly the same.
So going back to my original first question, if I wanted to get rid of that teeny tiny banner, maybe I could use that little white eraser up on the toolbar.
And which banner are you referring to?
The one you put up there that it was full size and you showed all the HTML involved. Let's suppose that was a table that I'd inserted and I want to get rid of it and it won't go away.
Oh, well, let's try it specifically with a table. That might be best.
Can we go back to the first thing she asked though? Because you don't have to, you can do float left and float right without having the caption. You can
Definitely.
So the caption it's a nice feature, but you don't have to have, that's not the only way to get your text to be float left or float right, or your
Oh, for
image.
sure.
So
Yeah,
maybe
let's,
you should be sure she knows that before you go off to the other topic.
thank you. I hadn't even thought about that. Yeah. In case you were trying to just have an image float without it being inside this little caption box here, what we'll do is just remove the caption. Actually, I am going to remove the formatting because that'll be the best way. Okay. So bringing this text back up just so that we can see what it looks like. We highlight that stuff and we can float image left or float image right. And it gives a similar behavior.
Can you step back again? Where did you float?
Oh,
What
for
were
sure.
you
Yeah.
doing to get that?
Let me undo that. So I have my image and my text as the caption already there. With those both highlighted, I'm using the styles drop down here.
Okay.
And then
Oh, and that row. Okay, okay.
float image right or float image left, and actually right justify and left justify serve very similar purpose. I will say that anytime that you click on one of them, and so right now I currently have the text and the image set to right justify. If I wanted to left justify them or center or float, do one of the float image options, I do have to select once again the original one so that it is unselected. So I right justify. Oh no, and then sorry. If that doesn't work like it did for me right here, you can just remove the formatting. Oops. Need to make sure I have both of them selected.
I told you it was an easy. I've been looking at that list under styles and completely disregarding that.
Yeah, it helps with not only your text, but your images too. Okay.
Yeah.
So there we go. So if you've set one, deselect it. If that deselection doesn't work, always fall back on the eraser because that
sure.
should reset everything. But yeah, float image right or float image left is another way of kind of doing the caption thing, but without the little box.
Super. Thank you.
Certainly. And then let's just try to quickly add in a little table to see if we can recreate the issue that you had previously. So just adding in a table.
Now I want to get rid of that.
Okay, so trying to get rid of it is now the goal here. So I'm just simply trying to backspace first. Okay, that is not going to help us there. And then the next thing I would try would be remove formatting. Okay. So what we want to do, okay.
What did you do?
All right. So I use the delete button instead of the backspace button. I'm assuming that the backspace button is not completely getting rid of the table HTML tag. And so that's why it's just sticking around with the backspace button. But using the delete button is taking all of the HTML that the table.
I did that and it didn't work. Now the blue little highlights in each box came because you used the erase button.
I used my cursor to highlight the entire table. So it's almost as if those 4 blue little highlights should be across the whole table because it's as if I've selected the entire table with my cursor. And then because it's selected in its entirety, using the delete button should get rid of it. And actually, let me try saving it as well and see if that makes any difference in it not deleting for me. I'm not sure if you had saved your content
Yeah,
before
yeah,
that
I
had the
had.
table. Okay.
I had.
Okay. So I have it still there. Let's go back in and see if that makes any difference. Okay. So doing the same thing, highlighting the whole table and using delete. Let's try it again with the rest. And just always make sure that either we have the little highlight boxes inside, or it may be the entire table highlighted like that, and the delete button. Again, I use the delete button, and that's the way to get rid of a table that's just sticking around.
Okay, thank you.
For sure. All right, and then Mary Jo was the next person I had on my list, and certainly if anybody else has another question after Mary Jo's, I think we might have question for one more, or time for one more question.
Oh,
Okay, Patty,
okay. Well,
got you on the list.
listen, are you, Mary Jo?
Yes.
Okay, so last time, I think it was last time, or maybe you put an email out asking people what they thought about the members only, or, you know, the thing on top, login, whatever. You were
Oh.
talking about moving that,
Oh, uh-huh.
and I don't know if
About
you've
the-
gotten any feedback on that. Maybe this group might have feedback. I don't know. I was saying, well, maybe so if it's easy enough to put back, you know, once we get into member only. But I haven't had anybody complain. Just one person was a little confused, but nobody said anything. I don't know what that means. Maybe they don't go to the website.
Yeah, well, it definitely can happen on an individual basis, but we were wondering if folks, that was our call out to try to see if folks were interested. We have gotten people kind of pop up, but it hasn't been enough to be a global change.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm not counting that. Okay. So when I'm, okay, this is, I have a lot, but I'll just, so when I'm doing like an article, say, and I'm, oh no, it wouldn't be an article. Like if I'm on a page and I'm adding some more information, I
Mhm.
would like to have you know, more space to work with it. And I just wonder if there's something I'm doing wrong. And if you went to my page, maybe I could show you.
Well, and let's see if I might be able to show you through a
Okay.
demo site. Do you mean with the text box that you're typing into? Is that what you mean
See,
by
it's,
more space?
yeah, it's not, it's one, it must be on a page. So that, you know, it's
How
not,
about, let's see, how about this, like the sidebar content? Is this what you're talking about? Like a
No.
small?
no, it's within, you know, like I've got one long page and I want to add to it. And
Okay.
I don't know how to make it bigger. I mean, it drives me crazy. And I don't know if I'm expressing it correctly, but
Is it
Okay.
just the window that you're trying to stretch so you can get
yeah,
at the
yeah, just
text?
to have more space to work with.
Well,
And
usually it's just the corner you pull.
well,
Yeah,
maybe
I'm
it
trying
could
to
be
see
that
if I can
easy. I don't
find
know.
a page that is long, that I have a lot of content in. This is about the longest. But yeah, let's demo it. I have HTML, but let's just change to WYSIWYG. I'm gonna
Yeah,
zoom out a little.
that's not what it looks like for me.
But is this the section that you're talking about? Like this
Well,
window for the
all I
body?
can tell you is that it doesn't take that big of a spot on my page. I don't know how to explain it.
Okay, let me, here we go. And you know the name, the name of the page that you're referring to?
So go up to get involved.
Okay, let me start masquerading.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's not even.
Sorry. Yeah, we were in a
It
purple and
looked
gold site.
familiar.
It looks similar.
Durabage.
Every time we go to a different state, I think of issues in that state and want to ask you, how are you dealing with this? Or how are you dealing with that? In Michigan, you have your share of things going on.
Yeah.
How did I? Oh, I'm still on the Ann Arbor site. You guys have a getting involved menu item as well. Get involved.
And then the one on
Okay, so
redistrict,
this is,
then go to
and this is the long
redistricting,
page.
go to redistricting,
Okay.
because that's what I was trying to work on.
Oh, from the menu.
Yeah, click that. And then new draft. And then so then, yeah, see, like that. Is that as big as I can get it?
What you can do to extend it, you can click disable rich text,
Uh-huh.
and it gives you this, the little 3 lines there allow you to pull it down with your mouse. And
Oh.
then from the right corner, oops, let's get that. Oh, I can make it smaller, but this is as wide as
Okay.
it can be.
All right,
But you can
okay,
definitely
that's
extend
all.
it down. And then
Okay, well,
just to
that might
get,
help. So what did you do? You change it to,
when you click on disable, and just to, sorry, just to get back to where we were so I can show you again, click
Yeah.
on enable rich text
Okay.
and that gets you back. So one more time, come down to the bottom and click on disable rich text.
disable. Okay.
Move it down, and then enable rich text gets you back.
And then, well, actually, while we're there, is there any way I could change, like, some of it's in red? I know that's the stuff that has links on it, but it seemed like I was working on something and like one of the headings was black and some of the headings are red. And it must not be in this one.
If they are red, and it's in MyLO, that means that it is a link. We don't have any other way of
Okay.
changing the colors unless it was done manually.
And when you say manually, what do you mean?
Like if you added that to the HTML of the page.
Oh, I wouldn't even know how to do that. So there's no way, that was another question. There's nowhere on the menu update you've got right there that has color or anything.
Correct, right.
Okay.
The only changes in color are the different, like heading 3 is in blue.
Right.
But that's the only color change.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna look for my example and maybe I'll ask you next time.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Send me
Well,
a link to
yeah,
the
I
page and we
just
could
see-
check it out.
I guess another question I had is there a natural way? See how I've got those stars in there because I want to separate them? Is there a natural way to separate articles on a large page?
There isn't a way in the WYSIWYG toolbar. There is an
Okay.
HTML way.
No, forget it.
It
I'm
is
serious,
a little
and
bit
I don't
easy.
think I'm alone. I'm not going to deal with that. Okay.
Yeah.
But you see what I'm trying to do, although I don't know why those are in there, but
But that is a good workaround. Another
Well,
way too, if you wanted to add in symbols that might not be available on your keyboard, is
Yeah.
using the little insert special character here.
oh, okay.
It looks like, I don't know which
What would we
Greek
use?
letter this is, but that'll bring up a new little
Oh,
window
okay.
and you can add in a lot of different types of characters.
Okay, thank you. Thanks,
Mhm.
Annalise.
I saw Patty's hand up. You're muted. There we go.
Sorry.
No
And
worries.
my air conditioner wasn't bothering you. It was so loud. I thought it must be bothering everyone. So I turned it off.
Now that sounds nice.
Amherst, you know, I talked to you earlier this week about starting up our members only page. And I thought this was a good place for me to ask other people what they had on their page, because of course I can't go and click on their members only page to see what they have there. And one of the, our league is currently working on some gun safety issues and gun control issues. And they're very concerned about having the material become public. And I said, well, we could probably put that on the members only page. And I just want to make sure that in fact, if they were to be starting to put some of their discussion or their agendas, the kind of things that you might want to have, how much assurance can I give them that it's safe to do that? And then just in general, what are the other kinds of things that people have on their members page? And if, so anyway, those are my general questions about it.
Well, before anybody, if anybody wants to chime in, if you want to show off your members only, if you're willing to, I can travel to it and show it off.
I
We-
would love
we-
that.
But we do that through Google Drive and have permissions there. And there's a lot of functionality you gain with that. Then you're having to, I mean, if they're want to add comments and have things going back and forth, if you can't support that on a MyLO page very easily. You're just putting up static versions of what they've created for their committees, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
If you're thinking of discussion group type thing, like a Google group or some
Mostly-
other. Mhm.
And mostly this would be like, they're going to have a meeting, it's on Zoom, and then people can't find, the link. And so it would be nice if
Okay.
then they were on the members only page and they could click in there, or that they could tell someone who might be interested in joining the group, go and see what's on the agenda, and there's the Zoom link. But of course, they want to make sure that, barring the fact that I don't think there would be like a mole on that group who would then give the information out. But can we assure them that pretty much it's safe if they're putting this information on the members only page? Things like agendas of meetings and Zoom links and stuff like that.
As far as if you're wondering about the safety, it will be secure as far as not visible to like a general public member or
Okay.
somebody that doesn't belong to your league. But I will say, let me pop back over to the demo site. We have some new documentation about the members only page. The section up here, members only page and everything below it. And then, so from members only page to everything above upcoming members only events,
Mhm.
this section is visible to just any general MyLO member.
Right.
So this is specifically the demo site. I am logged in as a webmaster, so that's why I'm able to see everything.
Mhm.
But if I was logged in as somebody else, then I would only be able to see this section here. So
The
I
blue-
would just recommend any sensitive information. Don't post it in this section, what's called your league's headers. I
Okay.
would suggest creating a private page and then, or whatever, an event, whatever type of content you want to create, and it'll appear down here.
Okay.
Um,
But I would like to see what other people had on their members only pages.
yeah, is anybody willing to, I can pop in there and show it off.
I don't have one. I mean,
don't
we
have
don't
one.
use it at all. So,
We use the Google all the time for that kind of
yeah,
stuff.
we use Google all the time.
But, well, okay, so how about your newsletters? Are those publicly available?
Yeah, but we clean them. We don't have any email addresses or anything in them. We have a version for the members and then they clean the,
Would
actually,
it be
they're-
easier just to put it in a member only?
no, because that means people have to log on. You know, and we do want some people to see our newsletters. Yeah, I mean, we want there are people in the community, we want to see them.
Yeah.
Not that, everybody does it their
Well,
own
how about
way.
your membership roster? Has anybody
Oh,
used
no,
that?
we don't put that on the web.
I do know of a couple leagues that do.
That's
that do
one thing
that.
I would use it for.
Well, that was one of the things we were going to put on our members only page was just so other members can get phone numbers and
Yeah.
email addresses of our membership. So we were going to put that, but only on the members only page. We don't
Right.
But you could put that on the Google Docs too. I mean, Google, I mean, it's an alternative, which is very, has a huge amount of functionality that it's hard to replicate.
Not everybody knows how to do all that, Liz.
Well, it takes,
We've got MyLO, so let's use it, in my opinion, use it as much as we can.
well, you'd be surprised though, more and more people are using Google.
No, I know.
But again, for ease of use, so that you don't, we have a website, members should be able to look up when this meeting is going to be.
Exactly.
And find it. So if they know that all meetings are, or you can look at, if you want to see.
Yeah, that's what I want to
your
use.
board meetings. I mean, it's just right there. You don't have to learn anything else.
Well, we have that on our website, but we don't have anything so far that's controversial that we can't show to the world. But I can understand why you're doing that for gun rights.
Eventually what we decide to do will be public, but that's just an example of something that that the committee work, that they can just mostly see when the meeting is going to be, what the agenda is, who's maybe even who the participants are who are on the committee, and they don't really want that publicized.
Or maybe board meeting minutes.
Board meeting minutes would be another thing that members might want to read.
Bylaws.
I was just wondering what other people did have on their members only section, because I noticed some of you did have members only sections, and
Maggie, I think that might be a good question too. If you're not already subscribed to the Google group, I can get you in there, but that might be a good question there.
I think I did ask once before, and I didn't get any response.
I'm surprised.
I'll put it in again.
I know at least a handful of folks are using it, but
that's all.
And that's just what I know of. I'm not in actively looking at all of the sites. But as far as webmasters presenting their members only to me and for resolving an issue or whatever, but I know
we have to go to you to start the whole thing rolling though.
You don't. You actually can get it going. Most of the reasons why folks come to us to get it going is usually like for the bulk member upload. If you haven't entered in your users yet, then we can help with all you need to provide us with the formatted template. It's just an Excel spreadsheet where you'll list all your members, and then we can import them in one swoop. And then if you need, we can also help with the welcome email. So that's usually what folks come to us for when they're initially getting into their members only page. But there are other ways that members can join, so they can create their own user account. That does involve a webmaster having to approve their request. And then webmasters, you can create their own or their accounts yourselves. There's a few ways to get your members in there to get it started.
Do you have a best practice for, because I thought that I would create it and then if they want to change their password, they could. I know when we first started, I think we just used my initials or my name, just MJ Duraj. What did you use? How did you do that?
Our default usually is change at me.
Okay.
How to reset password. I think we do have how to reset a password.
Okay.
And Susan, we can jump to your question because I did have you on the list. Sorry about that. I'll put the link to that in the chat, Mary Jo.
Okay.
Okay. So Susan, you can go ahead.
It's still on members. I've not even spent any time on it because we have over 320 members, and I had no idea what maintenance might be involved in adding members as they join during the year and dropping members when it's time. We have 20% turnover. Is
That
it a,
sounds like a headache, but I'm impressed. 320 members?
Wow.
well, yeah, and half of them are actually pretty active, so it's
That's
exciting.
wonderful.
But nevertheless, to use the members only page, it sounds like it would take a lot of maintenance and attention, which I just can't deal with. Am I
Well, and
correct?
the other thing is if they want to have documents on there, you are the one who has to do it, at least unless you have a committee of webmasters, other people, right? It's a lot
Right.
of work. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Well,
so
you
that,
answered my question.
well, other people may have a different opinion.
But that I think to what Liz is saying, it is true. It almost is kind of a different set of content that you'd be working with, especially if it's private documents. You won't you won't just be able to use the same stuff that you're using across the rest of your website. So they will have to be uploaded separately and content created separately. You can maybe, depending on what kind of content you're trying to show on the members only, you might be able to rely on the clone feature if there's some articles or events that you're trying to also have on the members only. That could be helpful. But like Liz is saying, if it's all unique content for members, it's a whole new section that you'd be taking on. Maintenance for the members, 20% turnover does sound like a bit of a feat. But when you go on over to manage members, you do have these little checkboxes that you're able to make changes to multiple people at a time with. So let's say I checked all those people, and then under operations, I can modify their membership status to either block them or make them pending. Both of those are essentially the same thing, or they don't have members only access, or I could just remove them from this group completely. But
But
that
it does
definitely is
sound,
another part.
it does sound like that as the webmaster, I would have to add people individually, that the group batch upload is something you guys do.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it, I guess.
I'll put the question on the Google.
Yeah,
page.
yeah, I'd love to see people's answers there. You know, if they're willing to put a screenshot. I know there's definitely going to be possibly some sensitive information, so some folks might not be comfortable, but if they're able to, that's just another way to show you to being able to see it rather than just hearing about what they're doing is helpful. I think we have time enough for one more question if we wanted to jump into anything else.
Well, I just real quick, if I was fooling around after I had added some tags to see what it looked like when I Googled, and I found some old stuff. And you know, like there was a thing on voter guides, but it was for last year. And I don't know, maybe I still have it as an article or something, but I thought I was thinking that, oh, this is something I deleted, but how do I get it so it's not showing up for people and misleading people?
What you can do is unpublish it.
Okay,
Deleting definitely is a way to do it, but if you did want to keep at least some kind of a record of it in your own drafts, then if you're looking at it through managed content,
yeah,
you can unpublish by just checking the box for that item and unpublish here through operations, and then don't forget to execute.
okay, and so that'll stop it from being Googled?
Yeah, it won't be public anymore.
Okay.
It may take some time, and that's the same thing about the tags as well. For tags that you just added, it may take some time for them to be cached in the search results.
Oh, mine showed up right away when I was fooling around with it.
Oh,
I
awesome!
was really pleased. And I
Well,
just wanted to say
that's great
that
to hear.
I did watch that your colleague at the conference, the California
Oh
conference.
yes, uh-huh.
And she's the one that really encouraged me. And until I actually did it myself, you know, I didn't know that. And then I just wanted to
Wow.
clarify, there's only certain kinds of things you can do tags on. but if you can't do it like on a page, you could maybe add a keyword or something, you said?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's exactly right. The events and the articles are the ones that allow for the tags.
okay.
I'm pretty sure that the action alerts do not, but let's just double check if I have one. But definitely the events and articles have their own section for tags. And when we were adding tags earlier, I noticed that there were a lot with that had hashtags or the pound sign before
Yeah.
the terms. That's not necessary, but some folks do add it. I'm not sure why. Okay, I just searched through the action alerts. It does not offer a place for the tags, so it is the events and the articles that allow for that.
Well, I had a question somewhere about action alerts. I don't know. I put down, why aren't they in order? And I don't exactly know what I meant, but I guess by date. I don't know if that's what I meant. Is that how they usually occur, by date?
They are by creation date. Well,
Okay.
this one's sticky, but they are by creation date. So the fresher or newer the item, then the higher it sits on the list.
Okay, so that's literally, okay, thank you.
Now I'll just go back to the home page. All right, folks. Did anybody happen to have any questions, any more questions about the front page functionality?
No, but I just love the being able to rearrange the stuff. That's just a godsend.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great to hear. I'm glad to hear that it is working, and we'll figure out what that issue is with those bogus listings, the little empty red listing that appears for some folks.
Yeah.
It comes and goes, you know?
And yeah, it does depend on what content it is. Like if you've unsubscribed from something, then we know it's some kind of subscribed content coming from a different league. But then for some folks, it is their own content that they've unpublished. So it's for some reason their own that is affected rather than the foreign subscribed league. Yeah, it's I'm just glad it is not a super broken
Right.
item, but definitely I apologize if it is a little frustrating when those pop up. But I'm hoping that we can get it quickly resolved with this second time around on it.
Well, we have our reputation to, we don't want on our pages having spurious stuff on them.
Yeah, definitely. We don't want to have to deal with that. No, keep your
It would
reputation
be
very high.
actually, it would be good if we knew people were using our site that much that they noticed our problems. I don't know if I don't know the rest of you, but our social media, I think, is much more interesting to our members than our website. But
Oh, yeah.
that may be mea culpa.
No, it definitely happens. We know how folks are, and I am guilty of it myself. We go to these voter information websites when it is a couple
Election.
days before the
Yeah.
election, and then all of us are definitely on it the night of
We
the
have
election.
a spike, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, but
So I
we're
had a
totally fine with it.
nice call or a contact us. Somebody contacted us and she wanted to know, about voter guides or something, but then I was just telling her all this stuff. And so I was pleasantly happy to see that she signed up for my constant contact newsletter.
Nice.
So that was kind of neat.
Yeah, those little surprises are awesome when you just expected to inform them, but then they wanted to join in and
So
get a
obviously
little
she
bit
went on
more.
the website. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, folks. Well, I think
Have a great weekend.
Go ahead and wrap this up. Yeah.
Happy 4th.
Next
Same
meeting,
to all of you. And definitely, if you have any questions, send them my way. But otherwise,
You
yeah,
know-
have a good
We
weekend.
know how to find you, Emery's.
Exactly.
We'll be in